Hey, onesies, Josh Williams here, and thanks for checking out this week's episode of the One Man Podcast. It's always free and available on iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play Music, and many more, as well as on the web at onemanpodcast.com. So please, whatever platform you're listening on, like and subscribe. While you're at it, give it a rating, leave a review. Why? Because it helps the podcast, and I'd really appreciate it. How about that? What about social media? Search One Man Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube to keep up with what's going on there. Get a little extra content for yourself. And finally, to get in touch, please send your emails to contact@onemanpodcast.com. You send it, I read it on the podcast. That's the deal. Thanks for listening, guys, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode.
What's up, everybody? This is DJ Demers.
I'm K. Trevor Wilson.
Hey, it's Krista Allen.
Hi, this is Rick Mercier.
What's up, guys? This is Paul Verzi, and you are listening to the One Man Podcast. Yeah!
My name is Josh Williams, and welcome to the One Man Podcast, episode number 160 for Wednesday, June 3rd, 2020. Welcome back, onesies. How are we doing? Guys, are we having a great quarantine still? Is everyone doing absolutely outstanding? Huh? Thanks for being here, onesies. I appreciate you. This week, I'm going to be talking about going for some walks. I've been doing some walks lately, and I'm enjoying it. I'm getting out of the house a little bit more. Trying to take care of myself. I have been gaining weight. So we need to turn this around. Just kind of, when's it all over? What does it all mean? But yeah, I went for a walk with Mom, went for a couple walks with Simon, my roommate. I'm going to tell you guys my thoughts on ice cream. I went and I surprised my mom with breakfast one of these days. Had to go boost my brother's car. I completed all the trophies for Don't Starve Together, and I'll tell you a little bit about that. Watched a couple of movies, one of them for the first time, one of them for the second time. And yeah, just a little bit of this, that, and the other I'll be talking about. So why don't I just get right into it? Still playing video games, right? Still spending lots of time inside, but getting some walks going. I gave my mom a call the other day and decided to go for a walk with the dogs. The weather has been nice the weather was nice for some days. Had a couple of rainy days here, recording this on Wednesday itself, June 3rd. Still relatively early in the morning. Well, it's just over the hump of afternoon, but so I gave her a call and I went over to see her and took her, took her and the dogs for a walk. Yeah, 3 leashes. No, we just went for a nice little walk around her neighborhood, and it was nice to get out. I've been meeting her for like walks with the dogs where we'd get in the cars and meet at like a field and sort of walk them. They'd just be off leash and run around some fields, but it was kind of like, I don't really feel like that. And some of the places too, like there's lots of people. So it's almost like, you know what, if we're going to have a ton of people around, I just rather do it on leash in the neighborhood. But anyways, it was a great little walk. The sun was out, dogs had a great time. It was great. Right, had a great time. Also, I have been going for walks with Simon, my roommate. So just him and I. Simon, I guess, went to this brand new, faux place. I'm not a big faux guy, but I'm not going to say anything about that. If you ever want to know, ask me or, send me an email, right? contact@onemanpodcast.com. But yeah, so Simon had gone to this faux place called Crazy Faux You. And, he was thoroughly impressed because he was telling me that they had banh mi. Well, I don't know if you guys pay attention to this podcast, but I dig banh mi. There's a banh mi place just down the street from Absolute Comedy in Toronto called Banh Mi Boys, and they do banh mi's and they do baos, and I dig that place. Banh mi, in case you don't know what it is basically like a Vietnamese French fusion food. It's really basically what it is. This is like a sandwich, but it's on a French baguette. And then you'd have seasoned meats and stuff like that with like cilantro and pickled carrots and cucumbers and things like that. It's really nice tasting sandwiches. So Simon had a banh mi. I think he had his first one ever at this Crazy For You place, which is not far from our place. And he's been saying to me for a few days, like, we should go. But then there was one day where I was wiped, come the evening. He was wiped come the evening another day. So it was just kind of like, all right, let's go. So we managed to get that. We managed to do that, and we walked up to the place, had a nice banh mi. Their banh mi is delicious. They actually put like a nice beef pate on it as well. Absolutely delicious. Reasonable price. Had a great time. It was a nice little walk too. It was probably, 20, 25 minutes each way. So nice little bit of exercise in there. And, yeah, I definitely go back. The owner, great dude named Andrew. We chatted with him while they were getting the orders ready. But yeah, a dude originally from Ottawa, moved down to Texas for a while. His family has a restaurant down there where they make these. And I guess a few years ago or not long ago, sorry, moved back to Ottawa, and he's had his place for 2 months now. So it hasn't been open long. And of course, it's rough time for any restaurant to open up amidst all of the COVID quarantine and whatnot, but good spot. And I'll definitely be back. The reason I mentioned the ice cream thing was I think I had the banh mi's and I was walking back and I was just like, you know what? I don't know why my body was just like, gotta have some ice cream. Gotta have some ice cream. I think because there was a McDonald's like 2 doors down from, the banh mi place. And I was like, hey, you want to get McFlurry? And I was like, you know what? McFlurries are fucking disgusting. They're gross. So they taste waxy and everything. I'm like, no. So we're walking back. I'm like, I'll just go to Shoppers or something and get a little tub of Ben and Jerry's. And I was chatting with Simon. I was like, yeah. And those things, just for the record, those things, that's not a two sitting. I'll listen. I'll give you this. You can share it with somebody, right? You and your significant other want to sit and work on a tub of Ben and Jerry's or Haagen-Dazs together. I can get behind that. Sharing, absolutely. But you don't. I don't understand. Well, first off, skinny people, go fuck yourselves. All right, you don't. Those little Ben and Jerry's tubs and Haagen-Dazs tubs, you open those up. That's it. You finish what you start. You don't go, oh, I'm just going to have like a little bit of it and I'll cover it back. Oh, fuck yourself, quitter. All right. If you can't, I was saying this to Simon on the way back. I'm like, those little things, the lid should self-destruct. Like when you open it up, the lid goes directly in the garbage. You're not finishing that later. Those tubs are single serve additions, as far as I'm concerned. Yes, I'm a fat fuck, and yes, that's how you get big. I don't give a shit. If you're a skinny person, like, well, I'm going to eat that, go fuck yourself. You shouldn't be eating that anyways, if you want to stay thin. Otherwise, you commit to what you start. You don't buy it and then not finish it, all right? You don't buy a little grab bag of chips and go, I'm going to have like 3 or 4 sittings out of this. Oh, fuck yourself. All right? I know it's not designed as a single serve, but let's get serious. All right. If you're putting smart money down that more than 50% of the population is cracking those open and they're finishing them in one sitting. I'm not talking about larger tubs. All right. There's all sorts of different sizes. The Breyers tubs. Yeah, those ones are not single serve. I guess there's certain people who would probably go through them in a single serving or single sitting. That's fine. All right. You definitely shouldn't be doing that. But I'm saying that the little Haagen-Dazs ones, holy fuck, how can you not finish that in one sitting? I just don't want all the go fuck yourself. If you can't finish one of those in one sitting, you get yourself a little ice cream pop. Go have a drumstick, quitter. That's all I'm saying. All right. That's my thoughts on ice cream. All right. Those Ben and Jerry's, those things, you take the lid off right in the garbage. That's never meant to go back on. Anyways, I ended up getting one that was like Ben and Jerry's coffee. It was like coffee. What was it? Coffee caramel something. And it was weird. It was like a very thin coffee flavor. It was like, let's put it this way. If you've ever let like an iced coffee melt and then you have this severely diluted coffee drink, that's what the ice cream tasted like. It's ice cream. Shouldn't it be thick? Right? Anyways, I'm not going to sit here. I'm not going to go off on a tangent on ice cream, even though I just did. I'm just saying this stuff I got. If you happen to ever it was like 3 flavors that were on sale. I'm like, oh, coffee sounds nice. I've had coffee Haagen-Dazs before, and that's delicious. It's like coffee when it's got little chunks of chocolate in it. Is this a fat person going on about ice cream? Yes. Don't act like it's the first time you've heard me talk about that shit. Anyways, I do not recommend the Ben & Jerry's coffee caramel, whatever the fuck it's called. All right. It tasted too thin. It was more like, it was like a weak, honestly, it was like a weak sorbet. It was very watery. Didn't taste like ice cream. All right, moving on. Breakfast, huh? So my sleep schedule's been getting better. I've been finding myself actually, funny enough, like falling asleep earlier evening, like getting absolutely gassed by like 7 p.m., 8 p.m. And so, especially with the walking too, like these are nothing walks. Old me could have handled this and it wouldn't have cost him his evening energy. But yeah, so I've been falling asleep and then like waking up at like anywhere between 4 and 6 a.m. And then I just, stay up. Sometimes I'm like, oh, well, it's 4. I'll probably stay up till 6. I'll go back to sleep at like 6 till 9, catch a few extra hours, and I'll just be up from 9 to whatever. But I never end up doing. So, I mean, I've been falling asleep at like 10 p.m. and 9 p.m. and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, I'll just have like a little nap. I'll have like a 2-hour nap and then get back up. And it's like, no, I'm done. I go to sleep. I'm fucking done. But one of the mornings I woke up early and I was like, I'd like to do something nice for my mom. I'm like, maybe I'll just bring her breakfast, or bring her like a little treat. Cause I know she's still kind of stir crazy and stuff like that. And she likes people visiting. She's making her little passive aggressive comments, letting everyone know that she'd like to see people and stuff like that. And she's starting to go and do grocery shopping and go to stores a little unnecessarily. So I'm trying to kibosh that. So I'm finding ways to spend time and whatnot. But, I ended up deciding, I'm like, you know what? I don't know. I had a craving for donuts. I sound like the fattest fuck this week, but I was just like, you know what? I wouldn't mind like one of those like artisanal donut places or like a bakery or something. So I remember in the morning, I'm like, I'll bring my mom like a little treat in the morning. So I was like looking at some of the bakeries that I used to go to, right? Where you can go and get like some sort of like cinnamon bun or something, just something nice and baked and or a cronut or whatever the fuck you call them. Things like that. Just like, I'll get her something like that. Bring her a coffee. That'll be like a nice treat in the morning. And I think like all the places I was looking at were like closed or didn't open until, like they were like either completely closed because of COVID or for some reason like closed, only open like, let's say Wednesday to Sunday. And this was like Monday morning or something like that. So I was like, all right. So the only thing that I saw that was open that was kind of like putting my head in that direction was like this fresh donut place. And so I decided, okay, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go, when they open, get some fresh donuts, bring them over to my mom's place. Right. And I decided, I'm like, well, I don't want to just show up first thing. And I hear sugar. So I'm like, all right, I'll get her some McDonald's too, McDonald's breakfast and a donut. So that's what I did. I got my mom, coffee, donuts and breakfast, showed up at her place. We had them in the back porch. And I guess that day she was having a piece of furniture she ordered delivered too. So, she cleaned up, her place and, we sat in the back porch, had breakfast, was nice. My brother and his wife, I was just sitting there chatting with her. She's like, oh, your brother and his wife are coming over with the baby. And I was like, oh, okay. So I guess I'll see them briefly too. Everyone just hung out in the backyard, but it was kind of nice to see everybody, and they brought their dog and the dogs all played together. It was nice. It was just, it was a little, semblance of something that was pre-COVID. Obviously, my brother and his wife were there wearing masks and they were staying, away from everybody, but everyone still got to talk and sort of hang out for a little bit. In fact, the day prior, I actually had to go over to my brother's place and boost his car. So their car had not started, which is why you need a boost. Way to go, Josh. You're explaining basics. Yeah, so he just called me. He's like, hey, do you have like a booster thing I can use? So I went over to their place with my battery booster. I gotta tell you guys, I bought, I think when I got my last car, the Fit, I bought one of those like booster pack things. And the reason I bought it was actually, I was at Costco and it was like $99. I'm like, oh, it's not that expensive. But I bought it because it was like a tire pump, right? It was like a battery booster that had a tire pump. And I'd had a bunch of slow leaks on like my tires on my cars over the years. Like I'd run over a nail or something. Again, it's also like, what the fuck are nails just doing in the middle of nowhere? On the road, just like, oh, there's a roofing nail. I mean, whatever. Just stupid. The amount of shit that like I would get in my tires over the years, But I have like these slow leaks, right? I come out in the morning and I'm like, why the fuck is my tire flat? And nothing seeming to point in the direction. And, I bought, but the thing is like the leaks I would get would always be like, you could go like a day or two on them. Like there were slow leaks. So I just thought in my head, I'm like, you know what? I don't want to end up, in a position where I'm doing a show, like let's say out of town and I get like a leak or I run over a nail or something and I can't get help because it's like midnight on a, Saturday. Or I'm stuck waiting like 2 hours. So I'm like, if I buy this pump, I'll be able to fill my tires myself. At least I can get my car, if I have to fill the tire, like even if the thing is leaking, if I have to fill my tires like once every, 30 minutes, at least I'm still able to get the car closer to town. I just keep filling it up. I can limp it back in, as opposed to like waiting on the side of the road for help. And I remember too, like even a year or so ago, I was driving Uber. Oh, that pissed me off. I may have told you guys the story. It was like I was broke and I was like, I could really, use some money. And I'm like, it's raining. I'm like, I'll go drive Uber. Literally pick up a group, like one ride, pick up a group of people, hit up like a a huge pothole because it was raining, and it just looked like a puddle on the side of the road. Like there was water all along the side of the road, right? Like all the gutters were all full of water, and it was just it was just another puddle on the road, and I guess it was hiding a gigantic fucking hole underneath. You couldn't see because the water was over the surface, right? And yeah, hit it, cooked my rim, and I was like, oh, the car feels like what's going on. When I dropped these people off, I saw that my whole rim was cooked. I'd fucked. I think they managed to save the tire, but the rim was gone. It was done. So I was like, well, that was great. I'm glad I decided to go out and make money, quote unquote. It ended up costing me more than what I made for the ride. Car was fucking done. But the point was I was actually, when I dropped them off, I was pretty far from home, and I was able to actually use my pump to keep pumping up the tire. I think I had to pump it up like twice or 3 times on the way home, but I managed to get myself all the way home because I had the pump, as opposed to like, hey, come tow my car home. Right. And Lord knows how long it would have taken me to do that. So, yeah. I can't swear by these things enough. Anyways, my point is I've over the years I bought it because I've had a lot of experiences with flat tires. So I bought it for the pump, but it's funny because when I bought this, battery booster, the one for my Fit, I actually ended up having, battery issues with my car. So I had a defective battery. And every now and again, I would be like on the phone with Bluetooth or something like that. And I'd be chatting with somebody, and I'd park and I'd turn off the car, but the electricity would stay on because you were in a Bluetooth call. But if you start talking on the phone for like 5 minutes, maybe even 10 minutes after you turn the car off, it'd fucking drain the battery, So I was like, oh, and I ended up having to boost the car. It kept happening, but the thing was, it was fucked up because like every time, it would happen at night. I remember one time I was sitting in the car chatting with someone, and it was like 2 a.m. I'm like, fuck the car. And then I went to turn on the car when they got out of the car, and it wouldn't turn on. And then I just, take the battery out of the back, boost it, and off I go. But like the amount of times that I was able to boost my car because I had that battery, like I now swear by them. So it's like the pump and battery booster for $100. That thing lives in my trunk. I bring it in once every 6 months to charge it again, but it's like, I will not own a vehicle. The one I have now is not the one that I had from these stories. And the whole idea was like, yeah, I gave that one when I bought my new car. I gave my mom the Fit, and I gave her the thing with it. I go, yeah, this lives in your car. You don't take it inside and just forget it inside. Cause and people do that. Like, well, I'll just bring it out when I need it. Well, you're not going to bring it out. You're not like, well, today I think I'm going to have the emergency. Like you bring it in, plug it in overnight. When you go back into the car in the morning, you take it with you. That thing lives in the car because you never know what the fuck's going to happen. I've used so many times. I've even actually, happened to be near somebody who needed a boost or whatever, and I was able to use it to help them. Like they're fucking great, man. I swear by them. For $100, you can get them at Canadian Tire or other bigger places, but for the same specs and things like that this one has, you're usually paying like $300 to $400. So yeah, definitely suggest them. If you ever see these at Costco for like $100, pick one up. You never know when you might need to, pump your tires full of air or bring your car back to life. So all of that is to say that because I had this, I was able to just fly from my brother's house, bring it in. You can usually get jumps from a stranger too, right? But you got to have the booster cables, be able to park nose to nose with another vehicle, whatever. And the thing too is like my brother's in a parking garage, right? So I have to be able to get my vehicle down there, and where it was parked, there was a car in front of him. So I guess you could put your car in neutral and push it out, but then it would be in the driving area of the parking garage. And that's if you can get it to push out, because there's no other way to get the other thing close enough to put jumper cables on it. Right. So lots of good, easy stuff to be had by having one of these things, but I can't swear by them enough. Am I just filling time? Just filling time, talking up the old battery booster thingy majiggies. That's all it is. What should I talk about now? I'm going to look here. And the day Simon and I, like I said, we went for a couple walks. One of them was to that faux place. The other one was to, I'm just basically getting out every day, which is good. I'm just finding a reason to get out. But, yeah, the other day I saw, I was going to go, I was actually going to have breakfast and then surprise Simon. I was going to make, pancakes. Cause I'm like, you know what? I've got some blueberries and some bananas, and maybe make some pancakes, switch things up a little bit. It's been a while since I've made pancakes. And I'm like, and Simon's fucking always asleep, and he can't cook for himself. He doesn't doesn't know how to find the podcast, so I won't be hurting his feelings by saying this. But Simon can't cook anything. He can use the microwave and the toaster, both of them poorly. So I'm like, it'd be nice. I'd love to, make something for somebody they can't make themselves. It's nice. I mean, I'd like to feed anybody, obviously, but I'm just saying it's kind of cool when you're able to give somebody something that they can't do for themselves. I like going to the mechanics because they can fix my car because I certainly can't, right? Unless it's a slow leak or a dead battery, there's not much I can do for myself. But anyways, I remember my dad was coming to get something I printed off for him, and then I turn around and Simon's like getting ready to leave the house. I was like, oh, because at this point I thought Simon was in bed sleeping. I thought Simon sleeps till like 3 PM. So I'm like, fucking 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to go make, give this to my dad. I'm going to go inside and make pancakes and then, feed the old basement dweller. And I turn around, Simon's like putting his shoes on. I go, oh, where are you going? He's like, well, I'm going to go for a walk down to my bank. And I was like, well, I'll join you, but I'm going to make breakfast first. I go, so if you want to wait for me, I'll make you breakfast. And I told him what I had planned, and he's like, yes, sir, I would like pancakes. Pancakes would sound delicious. So I'm like, all right, well, I'll make us some fucking pancakes then. And it turns out I bought all these dried blueberries, which look like raisins in the bag. So I was going to put like the dried blueberries in the batter and then add some bananas. But Simon had fresh blueberries. Is any of this of interest? Not really. Sorry, guys. Didn't mean to do that to you. But when was the last time you made pancakes, huh? Pancakes, nice. I made blueberry banana pancakes. I made them in the Vitamix. So I forgot. I should have waited. This was something stupid that I did. Was the Vitamix will absolutely pulverize and blend anything that you stick into it, especially at the high speeds, right? So I should have mixed the batter first in the Vitamix and then on like a super slow setting, added the banana and the blueberry afterwards. Instead, I put everything into the fucking blender and I'm like, well, I can't just take everything out. I need to blend this stuff in. So I'm just like, it blended everything together and it turned the pancakes gray because of the blueberries. It was pretty fucking funny. I made these like gray blueberry pancakes. I'm way ahead of myself mentally. But it was nice. It was nice. I had pancakes, went for a nice walk. I didn't know Dirienzo's was closed, but on our way back from the bank, we walked past Dirienzo's, a staple here in Ottawa, and it's a sandwich shop, little sandwich bodega. They are they're a huge, huge name in the city. Very definitely city famous. Definitely city famous. Everybody in the city knows Dirienzo's. But yeah, so they're doing renos. It's like they're never closed, but because of this COVID thing, they're a small spot and they busy. It's definitely could use an update for sure. So it's kind of cool that they're taking this opportunity to do renos and stuff like that. And we walked by and it's funny because it's like a store built into the side of their house. So we just saw them sitting on their porch and shoot the shit with them for a little bit on the way by. Glad to know that they're doing well. Yeah. So went for the walk, had some pancakes, said a little hello to some of the neighbors around Absolute. Yeah, good time. All right, whatever. I'm out walking. I'm making meals here. What is another thing? So let me see if I can bang off. I'm trying to put some sort of order into the list here. I watched a couple movies. I watched Into the Spider-Verse again. I noticed that it was on Crave TV. So sometimes when you're eating stuff, it's nice to watch a movie, right? I don't I've been playing a lot of video games. I've been telling you guys about it. You know it. But it's hard to eat and play games, and I don't like just staring at a pause screen. So I'll put on something to watch. Mostly I've been watching stuff like Tosh.0 and the, Impractical Jokers and stuff like that. My buddy Peter a while back gave me a flash drive with some seasons on that. But I decided to put on a movie, and I went into Crave to see kind of what shows there are. Tosh.0, like I said, is on Crave, and I was like, all right. But I happened to notice that the Into the Spider-Verse movie was on there, and that's really good. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but if you haven't seen, Into the Spider-Verse, it's a great fucking movie. Really good animation, whatever. I mean, it even won an Oscar, I think, for some sort of visual effects Oscar or something. Watch that. Good movie. Enjoyed it. But I'd already seen it, so nothing special. I'm sure I reviewed it on the week that I saw it, so no need to waste your guys' time there. I also watched the movie Good Boys, which I think Seth Rogen is an executive producer for. I got to tell you, the simplest way to describe it is it's super bad, but with just even younger kids, right? Super bad. They're like, we're going to this big high school party and we want to make out or get laid. And it's like, this one's like, we're going to this, elementary school party and we got to learn how to kiss a girl. Like, but it's just, and then it's just wackiness ensues. This movie was no Superbad. All right. It was not as good as Superbad by and large. It was actually, I think I might have laughed twice in the entire movie. And I don't mean like, oh, like guttural laugh. I think I might have chuckled twice in the entire movie. But the movie was made all that much better by the fact that I ordered Little Caesars. Didn't know this, but Little Caesars you could order, no delivery charge, and their prices are pretty fucking good just in general. So I was able to get a nice meal, delivery and tip for under $20. Terrible and off my my plan for not getting takeout or pizza or anything like that. But I'll tell you, that day I was a happy guy. Had a new movie to watch that I hadn't seen, and some pizza. Movie sucked. Pizza was great. And then I went to sleep early because I had a belly full of pizza. Yeah. Also sitting in front of the TV, I'm gonna tell you guys this. And this one's, guys, send me fucking emails. All right. Send me emails. I got questions for you. I want to know what your experiences are. I had, it's funny, like the week previous, my office chair broke. And then this week, my headphones broke. Falling apart, guys. It's the universe telling me, get out of the fucking chair. Get off the fucking video games. My headphones broke. And went to put them on my head, and they felt a little off. I was like, oh, how come the left side feels loose? And I, grabbed them by the muffs and like the president, grab him by the muff. He doesn't say that. Grab him by the pussy. He's a gentleman. He's not gonna use a fucking euphemism. He's gonna get straight to the point. And that's why the people like Donald Trump, because he's a straight shooter. He says what's on his mind. He don't waste your time with any of that courtesy stuff. Anyways, I grabbed them by the muffs and pull them off my, spread them apart. I just spread them apart, grab the muffs. And I didn't see anything. I'm looking to see if something's not sitting properly, if I twist it or something. Nothing. I put them back on, they still feel loose. I go to take them off a second time, it just cracks right off on the left side. So I was like, oh, all right. Well, looks like I need a new pair of headphones. So jump on the interweb, see what's available. And I found a really good sale at Best Buy. Found a $300 set of headphones for $200. I'm like, well, it's more than I want to spend, but saving $100 sounds pretty good. Yeah, and I hear you guys like, whoa, just on a whim, willing to spend that. Well, just wait till you hear the whole story. All right. I wouldn't just be like, hey guys, bought headphones. Good price. Fuck that. So I got on, Best Buy's thing, and I get the option. This was on Saturday, I believe. So I'm like, okay. I look, and it's probably at this point it's like 4, and I go online. I see that there's a set of them like at the Ottawa East location. So it's a good 20 minutes away from me by drive. Of course. And you can do the thing with Best Buy, which is like reserve online. So I didn't want to buy them. You couldn't buy them and just pick them up. You had to like reserve and then go in and pay for them. And of course, like those systems are, you would probably reserve it and then wait for a confirmation email. Well, I think by the time I'd reserved it, whatever, it was like 4:30. And I'm like, I should probably get dressed and head in there. I want to get in there before they close. I look and they're like closed at 6 or 7. I can't remember which. I'm pretty sure it was 6. So I'm like, well, I better get in there because this is the last day of the sale and I don't want to like wait for a confirmation email. And it's like, oh, now it's 5:45. You have 15 minutes to get here. Oh shit. I better I'm like, no, I'll go in and I'm sure I'll get the email somewhere between now and the process. Why would they tell you something's in stock and that you can reserve it when it's not? You see where I'm going with this? So I get there. There is an unreasonably long lineup for a Best Buy at 5 o'clock or 5 o'clock by that point. So I'm standing in the big long COVID line outside of a Best Buy. I don't know what these people need. Well, I'm like, I need headphones for my video games. But anyways, I finally get inside. Then I got to go stand in the order pickup line, which is basically just the only line in the store. Another big long lineup. I finally get to the front and I go, hey, I'm here to pick up some headphones. Here's my name. Did you get your email? No, I didn't get the email yet, but you guys are almost closed. I didn't want to wait for an email. And they're looking, nothing. The guy goes over to check with the other people and he goes, yeah, no, we don't have them in stock. Did you get, and I go, oh, great. And then, he's like, they're sending you an email right now, like saying that they're not in stock. I'm like, well, and I open my phone, look, oh yeah, look, wow, an email right now from you guys. Thanks guys. 10 minutes to close or whatever, saying that you don't have them in stock. Like, that's great. And they're like, well, you can order them online, sir. I'm like, I could have ordered them online 2 hours ago. Like every other store. It's funny too, because I'm like, why online? Like, okay, so this is what I said. I think 3 times now I've quote unquote reserved something online from Best Buy. Now, here's the thing. I did not get a confirmation email saying that they're in stock this time. Granted, no argument. However, the previous 2 times I received confirmation emails, went into the store to pick it up, and when I went to pick it up, they're like, oh, it's not here. We can't seem to find it, sir. I'm very sorry. Like, always that's bullshit with Best Buy. Now, so whether they send you a confirmation or not, my experience has been that it's not there available. Again, I know we're just talking about a video game headset. No fucking big deal. It's just like, I came all the way here to be like, sorry, you can go home and order it online. I could have done that from home. So I say, can I talk to the manager, please? Like I was the Karen, but I wasn't a dick about it. I was like, can I talk to I'd like to give some feedback on this because it's my 3rd time having this experience. And the store manager is the one like working the door, trying to like manage people coming in. I'm like, well, this is gonna be a fucking nightmare. So I start telling what happened. Doesn't even let me finish and goes like, well, did you get the confirmation email? And I'm like, no. He's like, well, sir, there I go, hey, I like that your go-to right off the bat is to blame me for this. Okay. I go, I'm just trying to give some feedback because this is the 3rd time this has happened. The previous 2 times I did get your confirmation. And of course, people are still trying to come in. Like, people are still trying to come in. So he's like, he was trying to listen to me, but then people just walking right past him, like not waiting for yes, you can come in or whatever. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to go. I'll tell you what, I'm going to be in the gaming section. I go, I know you're closing 10 minutes. So I think he's like, well, sir, I'll take a look for you and see if they're here. They're probably here, just we can't find them. And I was fine. I go, I'll do what you got to do. I'll go wait in the gaming section. And I'm looking at the other headphones and stuff like they have there. And they're, they've got a bunch of like, $60, $70 headsets. And I'm like, well, I don't know if these are just trash or whatever. Who cares? I'm looking around. I eventually find some. I'm like, you know what? If I can't get the ones I'm looking for, I'll just get these. These are cheap, whatever. I think they were like $80 or $70, whatever. And, yeah, I waited there for like 20 minutes after close. Dude never came. I go back up to the front because I'm like, I'll just buy these then. Go back up to the front. He's just standing there with the other employees, like chatting about stuff. I mean, he's clearly telling them to do stuff, but it's like, all right, well, you had a customer waiting for you. Whatever, fuck this guy. So I go to the front. The same guy who helped me before saying, sorry, I don't have the stock. I go, I'm just going to go with this. He's like, yeah, sorry. If you want, like, you can order your headphones online. I'm like, dude, you got to stop saying that, man. That's driving me crazy right now. I'm well aware buying online is an option. All right. I would have bought online at home if I wanted to buy online. I go, when's the delivery? He goes, the expected delivery date's like June 10th or June 15th. I'm like, yeah, man, like I don't want to wait 2 weeks. I'm just going to get these. I said, it just sucks that like, I go, your store, if you guys only had, they're like, well, you probably reserved and someone had the pair in their hands. I go, well, that's just it. I go, here's a really easy solution, and the reason I want to talk to your manager is so that I could give him some feedback to send up the line. I don't know. Like we're doing a lot of this buying shit online. I don't know. I'm sure nobody gives a fuck what I'm saying, but there's little simple fixes in life. You know what I mean? Like so many people are cool to just go, okay, I guess we'll go home and buy it online. Fuck them, man. If you drove all the way out there and stood in 2 fucking lines for something that was supposed to be there, the other stores didn't give me the option to reserve online. You know why? Because they didn't have any. But this store didn't have any, and it gave me the option to reserve online on the last day of a sale, 2 hours before close. So it was kind of like, all right, well, I'm not going to sit at home waiting for a confirmation email because if I get my email 10 minutes to close, well, I'm not going to be able to get in my car and get there anyway. So it makes no fucking difference. My suggestion was, and you guys, again, send me an email or don't. I'm sure I won't hear anything, but all I'm saying is if you have less than 3 items in stock, like 3 inventory on an item, you shouldn't be able to reserve it online. All right. To avoid that maybe the one item is a defective one or a return or that maybe someone is walking around the store with one in their hand. All right. The store should automatically, the database, right? You don't have to do anything. You don't have to lift a fucking finger at the store level. Just quite literally, once your inventory is below 3, the reserve online is not an option. You either call the store and have them put it aside physically, like have someone do it to make sure, right? But it shouldn't let you, just to avoid these things. Simple solution. What do you think? Right? You're selling all sorts of different things. If you have under 3, reserving online is not an option. Purchasing online is if you want to wait for it to be delivered, but the reserve online and come in and pick up shouldn't be an option if you have under 3. That little thing right there would have solved the difference. Would have made all the difference between me coming all the way in, because it would have just shown up as another store that didn't have it in stock. And that's the thing. I wasn't mad at all the stores that didn't have it available for me to buy. I was frustrated with the store that let me reserve it, that didn't send me a confirmation email for almost 2 hours. And it's supposed to be like under 30 minutes and you get a confirmation email. So if I had got that email while I was in line, I could have left. Instead, I had to wait through all the lines to get to the front to find out. And it wasn't until another employee went up and asked the chick who was putting together the emails, like, oh, do you guys have this? She's like, oh, no, we don't. Like, I watched their interaction. And it's like, I'll send them the email now. It's like, well, you don't need to send me the email. I'm standing right here and I'll fucking hear it from your mouth that you don't have it. Whatever. I don't like wasting time needlessly. And I hate when there's so many easy solutions to things. You know, like I said, this was my 3rd time having this experience with Best Buy. And it's like, you know what? Stop letting people reserve online if it's never in stock when they come in, you know, less than an hour later. If you don't have 3 of them in the store, reserving online is not a fucking option. Wow, it's like the one subject I've talked the most about. I don't know, it just pissed me off. It pissed me off because it seemed unnecessary. I get sometimes shit happens. With Best Buy, it happens every fucking time. Right? Again, gaming headphones, nothing important in the slightest. But like I said, it doesn't really matter what it is. You could pick something important from a different store. The point being is there's simple ways to make things accessible and very simple fixes for stuff like that. Red's a listener. You know, you get it, right? You're in programming. How fucking hard would it be to create a database that's just like, yeah, if it's under 3 items, this isn't an option, right? And then nobody's pissed off. But if there's 3, then you got really, really good odds that even if one's walking around the store in someone's hands, there's still 2 other ones. Even if one is defective and one's walking around the store in someone's hands, there's probably still one on the shelf, right? It's a way better system than just, oh, we don't know what our inventory is. It says that there's 1. But let's, you know, and in 2 hours from now, when we go to process your order, anyways, fuck them. Whatever. I'm not giving them any more time. Best Buy could suck my ass. So but all that is to say that I was playing with my friend Tina on Don't Starve together when my headphones broke, and was having a great time doing it. Guys, I've really come a long way in my Don't Starve Together. So I'm going to start by saying I got the platinum trophy in Don't Starve Together. One of the hardest games I've ever played. Spent tons and tons and tons of time playing this game, and still probably I might just be around the 50% mark in terms of experiencing the things that the game has to offer. And that's maybe. I've talked to you guys about how, you know, you're cutting down wood and you're finding food, whatever. This game has so much shit that I haven't even begun to like, you have to actually get on a boat and sail to other islands for certain types of things. So I've never even fully explored the continent that you start on, let alone finding these other areas and, you know, picking up the resources, not to mention that the whole underground area has so many different things. Like, what an interesting game. And there's like narratives even to all of the different things that you can encounter. Like, there's some species of animals I've never seen. Still some bosses I've never seen. There's like the last trophy I had to get was to kill the ancient guardian. And I didn't even know what the fuck that was. But apparently in the underground, you will find at some point something that's called like the ruins or whatever. And the ruins are like, it's like a maze, like an underground maze. And then like in one of the sections of the maze is like this ancient guardian, and it's got a shitload of health, and it's very, very dangerous, but people have found ways, like little, like not cheats, but like little strategies to beating him. And we were able to employ one of those and kick the fucking shit out of him, beat him, killed him, popped the trophy, right? Got the t-shirt. It was fun. It was a lot of fun. And I'm still really enjoying Don't Starve Together. I can't recommend it more to anyone who's got a console or PC, has the opportunity to play it. But it's just fascinating, the stuff that they've done. It takes the level of imagination and creativity in the game. And of course, when you can play on different worlds, like different people's servers, but the idea is that like no map is ever generated the same way twice. So finding things and resources and animals and stuff like that are always going to be different. But what's cool is there's just so much to it, and everything is like, okay, I need to do this. Well, how do I do that? Like I've talked about how the game employs hunger, health, and sanity. Well, it's like some things you have to, in order to get things that you need to craft, you have to deliberately go insane, because the crazier you get, you start to see these like shadows, and then eventually the shadows turn into monsters, and then eventually those monsters can actually attack you, like the crazier that you get. So you're same thing with, you can die from hunger, and you can die from, injury, regular health stuff, die from the darkness, die from sanity, right? Because you start to lose your mind, and all of a sudden these fucking creatures start coming at you. But when you attack these shadow creatures, they drop like nightmare fuel, whatever. And then there's things that you need the nightmare fuel in order to craft. So at some points, like I've played with people who were like, okay, I need nightmare fuel, so I got to go drive myself insane. They'll actually go make themselves insane and then fight these monsters just to get it. So like just that level of creativity in a game where to drive yourself crazy, not just as like, that's like, hey, never go crazy because you'll die, but to actually deliberately have to cause yourself to go crazy in order to be able to craft certain things, and experience certain things that the game has to offer. There's this creature, I guess you find its bones. You find some of the bones, I don't know, here and there. I don't know if you find all the bones in one place or if you find them separately, but it looks like a giant, like bull sort of creature. It's got giant horns. It almost looks like the devil from Labyrinth, but if it was just a skeleton. It's like a big cattle skull, those long horns in Texas. Anyways, but it's this thing that I guess if you find the bones, you're able to put it back together. And if you bring it up to the surface world instead of the underworld, if you bring it up to the surface world, you can like bring it to life, and it'll just walk around and like drop things that are good for the player. Like it'll create things that are of benefit to you. But then if you bring this thing underground, there's a certain spot underground, like an altar or like a ritual place, where if you bring this thing, that's like where it's from, it's home. And the closer you get to this area, the more, I guess, this thing starts getting its memory back. Like there's no speaking or narrative, but it starts to get its memory back. And if you actually bring it into the area where it is, then it becomes a boss and you have to fight it. So that was kind of cool that it's like it has like kind of like an amnesia or something like that. And then as you bring it back to where it's from, you can fight it and get stuff. But there's all sorts of things like that in this game where it's just, like all like things you could play an entire game and never find this thing's bones. But if you do, and then to find them and to know what to do with them, right? Because there's no explanations. You don't get, there's no storyline to this game. It's just find shit and then figure out what it is and what to do with it, and gives you reasons to explore. Well, I found this thing. What do I do with it? I don't know. And then all of a sudden you might find something that requires that item, and you're like, oh shit, check this out. Like it's, you really do have to play with other players to someone goes, oh, I know what that is. That does this. And it's kind of cool to share the information and whatnot. Anyways, I finished Don't Start Together in terms of what trophies it asks you to get, but there's still so much to the game that I don't know. Looking forward to, playing some more with some friends. I told you guys I had a little bit of a challenge with my buddy Chad in the USA there, New York. And Chad and I were in a race to see who can get to level 15 first. Well, I spent a lot of time on Don't Starve, some of it getting, just spending time, not working on trophies or anything like that. And it gave little Chatterino here the opportunity to just squeak out first place. I think I'm at 97%. I think when Chad crossed the finish line to level 15 on PlayStation, I think I was at like 90 or 80, 88%. So he did it. He got to level 15 before me. So I'm happy for him. Doesn't sound like I am because I'm writing a note here and I'm half paying attention. Yeah, I'm happy for him. He did good. He started to grind and he hit level 15 before me. Again, this is nothing but bragging rights, but when you're sitting at home doing fuck all, it's something gives you something to work on during the course of the day. So good for you, Chad. You did it, buddy. You, you got your PlayStation, or you got your level 15. He is finally also going to be getting his PlayStation replaced. I think I don't know if I told you guys, but he headbutted the shit out of it. His old PlayStation at the beginning of the whole COVID thing, and has been waiting this entire time to get his PlayStation replaced. He has placed his order online, and we'll get it soon. Huh? So just the people I'm chatting with online. I've also started to replay The Last of Us, going for like the survivor level trophies. Yeah, whatever. The Last of Us Part 2 comes out this month. It's got mixed reviews, but that's a game that came out, Last of Us, in 2012, right? And people have been waiting a long time for a sequel. For me, I just played it last year, so it's not been that long at all. But I'm replaying it just to do some mop-up trophies, see if maybe I can squeeze a platinum out of that. And then, I think the only other thing I did this week was I went to Costco with my dad. He's doing a lot of gardening. My dad's always been very, he's had a green thumb for, at least a long time now. I can't say as long as I've known him. He might have. I just can't say that I really watched him or noticed him doing any of it. He's always been outdoorsy. But yeah, so I went to Costco with my dad. He's looking for some stuff for his garden. He's been doing a lot of gardening this week. And I took a look. They have this thing at Costco now. It's called the DJI Osmo Pocket. It's a little like camera gimbal thing. I had my eyes on GoPros for years, but they haven't really figured out a way to make it so that you can film a GoPro, like so you can film with a GoPro in an environment like a stand-up comedy club. The bright lights from the stage versus the dark lights, the audience, the thing doesn't know what to do. It can't play with the contrast properly. So GoPros are not ideal for a comic, but this Osmo Pocket thing is a small little camera with a gimbal, and you can do like video blogs and stuff with it, but it might work. Anyways, it's on sale. I haven't picked one up. Trying not to spend money needlessly. But I don't know. I'm fascinated by that. I was taking a look at that. If any of you guys use anything like that, let me know what you think of them. I was thinking too, if I'm going to be going for walks, it might be fun to just have something like this that I can use for, talk about walking and bitching with Josh. And I'll just take all these complaints that I have and turn them into videos. See if that's interesting or whatever. But anyways, yeah. So having said that, I did a bunch of different little things this last week. And let's move on to our sponsor, DK, right? Google DK Books, right? Wherever you are. So DK.com, DK.com/CA, wherever you may be, guys, get some DK. And speaking of a green thumb, and of course, everyone being a little more outdoorsy, right? Spending some time in the backyard with my mom and, see my brother and his wife, and everyone just trying to be outside a little bit more, right? And everyone's uncertain about, people are starting to worry for some reason now. All of a sudden, people again are worried about like the supply for food and stuff like that. I thought, what better time, right? At least all the people around me seem to be growing stuff and whatnot. Why not learn how to grow food for free, huh? The sustainable, zero cost, low effort way to a bountiful harvest by Hugh Richards, HUW, Hugh Richards, Hugh. I don't know how to say that. But this book is cool as shit. So Richards gave himself a challenge to grow his own fruit and vegetables for free. He succeeded and now wants to help you do the same. Can't afford a raised bed? Make one from an old wooden pallet. Don't want to spend money on buying plants? Look in your kitchen for things to grow. What, like your hopes and dreams? What the fuck are you going to grow in the kitchen? Need a particular kind of rake? Set up an effective tool share with neighbors. No yard? Discover hidden spaces in your own community to turn into food abundance. Who's Grow Food for Free has the inspiration and practice advice you need to start, grow, nurture, and harvest your own fruit and vegetables organically at zero cost, even if you're new to gardening. Take a big step towards self-sufficiency and real sustainability. This one was pretty fucking cool. I kind of like DIY stuff, right? Everyone loves when you're laying in bed in the morning and someone's shared on Facebook one of those like life hack videos. You just look at all these different little things. That kind of like DIY shit's really cool. But this book is neat. Like it's neat. Regardless of this guy's unpronounceable name, there's some really cool sections in it. Like for him, he has a couple paragraphs on what does free mean to him. And it's like, he's saying like free doesn't mean for no effort. It means no money. You still have to put effort in. He goes, it takes time to do things in the garden, just like it takes time to go to the grocery store and buy food. So like, You're not like, oh, well, I just, you don't set it and forget it. It ain't some Ron Popeil infomercial. You got to do some work in a garden, but you're getting your own shit, and it's not costing you financially. But he has sections in the book that talk about the power of barter. So like if you know somebody who's growing something, you can also grow, you can grow something different, and then you can trade with them, or you can trade seeds, or you can trade all sorts of things, like, a little like back to basics, but it's true. You could trade that stuff. He talks about the tools that you're going to need, but there's tools that you can share, tools that you can borrow. He makes suggestions if you don't have your own gardening space, see if you can use somebody else's gardening space. So if you know somebody who has a yard, see if you can, get a little piece of it for yourself to grow, and then in exchange you give them some of what you harvest. It also, for people who have like a balcony or a terrace or patio, they don't have a yard, there's a section on like what kind of things you can grow there. Establishing water supplies is a big one. And of course, for anyone who's like, well, as soon as I said the word fruits, my brain immediately was like, well, you can grow fruits in Canada. It's like, you're not, I don't know. Bad point. I always think oranges and bananas. We're not growing that shit here in Canada. But either way, you can grow blueberries and, or what is it? Yeah. Raspberries and strawberries, and, you can grow an apple tree. You're going to need 7 years. But basically there's sections on how to work with your climate. And I like the thing in here. I told you guys a long time ago, because it's talking about like creating your space and stuff like that, establishing your water supplies, things like that. But there's a part in here that has the quote that I shared with you, the one I heard originally from Paul Verzi, but it is a famous quote. The failure to prepare is preparing to fail. It's talking about choosing your setup and everything like that, making sure that you get everything that you need ready. But it's really cool. It's really cool. Like creating your own containers. Like it's showing here, how he creates like a planter out of like an old tire. Just the tire itself can be the retaining wall and everything like that, and different levels of maturity plants and where you could put them, but things to raised bed gardens and stuff like that. Different watering solutions, which I thought was kind of cool. It shows them like drilling holes into the bottom of like certain buckets. So you can just dump the bucket in a larger bucket to fill it with water, and then literally just carry it over top of the stuff. I don't know. I don't want to go like too in depth with it. Like, I don't want to start giving away everything there is, but I just thought it was super cool. It made me want to have a little section of garden again, even though most shit that I would be able to grow is not my favorite stuff, but I wouldn't mind being able to, grow some asparagus and cucumbers. And like a lot of the stuff that I like is kind of like the underground stuff that really gets attacked by grubs and you need systems and stuff. But, there's a section on compost too, like how to set up your own compost. Right. And the mixture between soil and compost. And of course, like that was the section where they say like, for creating compost, it's like, well, you're not going to get it your first year. You're going to need to have your compost working for a while, but you can get it ready this year and use it next year. And then this year you use just, your soil, potting soil and alternatives. But I just thought it was cool. That was the section that was like compost. They say, when's the best time to plant an apple tree? It's like 7 years ago or right now. So the whole idea is like, get it started now, just because it's not going to be ready right now doesn't mean you don't start it, because then you're just always that far away from it. But it shows you how to create your own compost bin and things like that. It's just cool. The projects in this are really fucking cool. And then they talk about compost recipes and show you how to layer and stuff like that. And also they have all these different sections on like where to get things. Right. So if you want to make compost now, go source your own stuff for your compost. You don't need to just use your own compost. You can source stuff. But sourcing seeds and plants and all sorts of different stuff like that. It's a wicked book. It's a really wicked book. And then then it goes into the regular kind of gardening stuff, right? How to weed, how to plant different, root vegetables and things like that. I don't know. It gets more and more in depth as you go deeper into the book. But it talks about, all the different things that you're going to notice and different tricks that you can use to, there's a thing of him like pouring, it looks like beer, but you're pouring beer into like a mason jar in the soil. So you put the soil, you put the mason jar in there dig a hole, put the mason jar in, but don't cover the top of the mason jar. And then you pour beer into it. And then I don't know what he's doing with this thing here. It's called a slug pub. But the whole idea is the beer attracts the slugs. They fall into the beer and then they die. But it's just, there's a lot of that kind of shit that's going to get in and fuck with your plants, right? I've talked about that in some of the other gardening books that I've reviewed in the podcast. So I don't know. Good shit, man. It's a good shit. It's a good shit book. Guys, Grow Food for Free, the sustainable zero cost, low effort way to a bountiful harvest by Richards. Yeah, definitely. DK, right? Like I said, if this is not your thing, there's a lot of people, spend time at my mom's yard, my dad working on his stuff, talking to my other friends. Again, just been in a lot of backyards lately. And a lot of people talking about how they want to start growing shit and whatnot. Well, guys, this is a great book, Grow Food for Free. But if that's not your interest, if you have other interests, check out dk.com/ca in Canada, dk.com in the States, or just Google DK Books and see what other books they have. Whatever you're into, undoubtedly, there's going to be books on the subject. Again, I've got a couple friends who I'll be getting some reviews from, some of the DK stuff that I've given them. I'm outsourcing some of my reviews. So a book for them, a review for all of us. Yeah, and that's it. What do I got coming up this week? Nothing. So tell me what you got going on. Right? Contact at onemanpodcast.com. I'd love to know what you guys have going on in your lives, what's new and exciting with you, what you're into. I'm going to finish these playthroughs of The Last of Us, on survivor mode, which is incredibly difficult. And then who knows what I'm going to do with myself, right? Play another game, or, I'm going to keep going for these walks. The weather in Ottawa has been crappy the last couple of days. Like I said, I managed to get out for a walk yesterday, which was nice. But with the weather not nice, I don't know. I do not like getting rained on. Bring an umbrella. Shut the fuck up, you and your solutions. Right? So I'll just let you know what's going on with me. Thanks for continuing to listen to the podcast. I appreciate you guys being out there. Would love to hear from you and know what you got going on, what you're doing to stay in shape, or how you've completely let yourself go, or whatever the hell it is. What are you watching? What are you reading? What are you doing? I want to hear about it, guys. Send me an email. All right? But until next week's podcast, I hope you're well, and we'll talk to you soon.